What is a machine? This classic question can have millions of different answers. You can experiment and ask 1,000 people and you will get the 1,000 different answers. But there's something we all can agree upon. That is that machine is something that makes humans' effort easier once you learn how to operate it, and once you are skilled with that particular kind of the machine, you get the work easily done than the human beings. And one of the best example is shown by the kid here. The kid is playing with the abacus. This was the first computing tool discovered in the China late back some 1,000 years ago that is used for the basic calculations. That was the earliest form of the calculator that we have in our known history. And in this we have the beats, and by adjusting the beats we can have the place value and face values, and we can figure out the numbers quite easily. That was the machine or computing device they have discovered that time. Now our question begins. What is a computer? A computer can be defined in a way that it's an electronic device that use the set of instructions program based upon the logic that we set through them, and it helps us to do the basic calculation, simulations, and everything in between that you can imagine. But that is the way a normal human being thinks of it, or the way we can write it in our academic exams and everything. If you are actually asking that what is a computer in the engineer's way, let me introduce you to a completely different level of how an engineer, a true engineer, actually respond to what is a computer. A computer is like a magic box. Why? Well, you have input devices, you have output devices, and in between it can process something what we command, but it is having the ability to talk with the software and hardware, and that together do something. What is that something? Well, let me tell you with a story of our boy. This is our engineer, and this engineer is very curious to know that what is a machine. So he learned one day in my class that what is a machine. So I taught him that machine, well, we have just discussed, and you can just pause the video or can remind yourself. Okay, don't do that, I will tell you. Machine is something that makes our work easier. So he said, okay, that is good, but what actually is the purpose of the machine or a computer? Well, I gave him the list of the things, like it can do computing or calculation. That's what the machines actually or computer actually built for. But later it can process the image, you can store or click the photos, you can have the videos, you can monitor the data and work with the data on your spreadsheet, Word, PowerPoint. You can make the simulations, you can have the entire laboratory like LHC, Large Hadron Collider. If you are curious in science, you definitely know that that's in Geneva, Switzerland. They use a 27-kilometer tunnel, and in that tunnel the particles move close to the speed of light, and this point is spotted here. Let me show you the complete thing. Here is the first particle and here is our second particle. So they both actually collide and the explosion happen. Well, the period of the explosion is very small. So how we can determine that? We use the slow motion cameras, and that is one form of the computer itself, because it is getting some input, processing, and we are able to see its output. So yes, this is the way a true engineer actually classify that what can we call in computer. what we mean with the computer actually. It can have thousands of the different definitions. We can have the mechanical computers, can you imagine? And we can have the complex simulations through the electronic devices. The first machine in the computer was based upon the difference engine that was created long back time by our Charles Babbage. We are going to discuss about that. It was working on steam engine. It is having gears. Can you imagine that? How the gears can do something? Yes, they can do a lot. If you are curious enough, stick with me and I'm going to tell you that how it's going to happen in the next one.